Hawaii. It's an amazingly beautiful and ecologically fragile place, home to many rare species. It is a natural paradise. As Hawaii develops, we need to find sustainable sources of power and fuel. Hawaii's location gives us unique challenges and opportunities for generating power. Everybody agrees that shipping in petroleum from the mainland is not sustainable. Hawaii depends on imported oil for over 90% of its energy needs. However, most of this is used in transportation and not generation of electricity. Reducing our dependence on fossil fuels for transportation is an important priority.
The power companies say that geothermal is clean, safe, cheap, and renewable.
The government's saying that the people of Hawaii want more geothermal plants and that they're going to create more jobs for us.
Well, that sounds good.
It certainly seems safer and cleaner than nuclear, coal, oil, or natural gas production. Any form of power generation comes with some degree of impact on the environment. What are the best ones for Hawaii? Is geothermal really the answer? The state and federal governments are wisely seeking development of renewable power. Millions of dollars of green energy grants are available. Geothermal has been targeted for rapid expansion, and laws have been passed to open the way for drilling explorations on all islands.
Why should I be concerned about geothermal?
I don't live near the volcanic area.
What's the whole story?
Despite claims to the contrary, Hawaii geothermal production is uniquely dangerous because it is placed directly on a volcanic hotspot in a highly geologically unstable area.
Unlike bubbling in the mud in New Zealand, this resource is volatile. It's unpredictable.
Geothermal power around the world has become controversial. People in Kenya protested the loss of their crops and their eviction from their native lands. Protests are growing in Indonesia and in Iceland. Geothermal can result in problems here, like the release of toxic chemicals into the air and groundwater, and even earthquakes, as it has in other places. Geothermal projects have even been shut down from earthquake risks.
We're dealing with arsenic, lead, mercury, radon, boron, H2S, silica.
Since we already have unstable land, a delicate ecosystem, and a small populated land area, we need to carefully study the impacts of geothermal in Hawaii before developing more. Advances in drilling could also open Hawaii to a process similar to fracking. Enhanced geothermal fracturing injects huge amounts of water into the earth under high pressure to break up hot rocks and get out the heat.
They introduced a bill to outlaw fracking, or hydrofracking, or hydro-shearing. The only opposition to that bill came from someone representing a geothermal development company.
This technique makes possible geothermal development in many more locations. Developments are being discussed in Kona, Kau, Maui, and Oahu. A few off-island power companies have leased sites all over Lower Puna for exploratory drilling. Helco will choose the site for the next geothermal project soon. Helco invited bids from power companies before the required public hearings.
We're off-grid now and a sustainable farming community, and the idea is that they want to build all types of industries, ammonia manufacturing, hydrogen. They want to make this whole area into an industrial park.
The existing geothermal plant in Puna has raised many unresolved issues.
I'd say one of the primary issues that sits at the center of this whole debacle is the cultural issue. You know, this is Pele we're talking about. The whole concept that Pele herself is a resource that is to be tapped into, it's sacrilegious.
Solar, the new batteries, fuel cells, all those new 21st century technologies are actually coming down in price, while geothermal and the older obsolete technologies are going to continue to rise in price.
30 years down the line almost now, and there's no evacuation plan. What happens if there's a natural disaster? What happens if there's an accident on the site and they need to evacuate people?
This geothermal plant is within 3 miles of our public school, and people live right next to it.
After they make steam, they would pour the water on the ground, and they had dug pits, but it would line with this white crust, and then the pits would overflow into the ohia forest, and wherever that water touched, every plant was dead. Ohia trees were dead, bushes were dead, everything was dead. So then I kind of had an indication like, oh, this is not good stuff.
Who cleans up if a project fails? Who's liable?
I think land values will be going way down if they develop next door to us.
There are health issues that have yet to be addressed by the geothermal companies.
We thought geothermal was a good thing until we would start waking up in the morning, crusty eyes, hard time breathing, itchy skin.
We don't want people to get sick anymore. We don't want people that have to deal with the low frequency vibrations, with the hydrogen sulfide.
The most important thing from day one for me has been for government to establish a regulatory agency for all geothermal production. And this has to be done before we go any further from here.
Laws have been passed by the state that take away local control.
As a community, we need laws that actually help us, that help protect us. And we need people to come out and support the efforts that are being made to do that.
Supposedly there's a nighttime drilling ban, but my understanding it's for any new developers coming in.
One of the first exploratory wells moved right next to my house, my farm, Pico, and they started drilling 24/7 non-stop with clanging pipes with heavy construction noises.
This is all about power and energy. And yes, we need power and energy. But is this really the right answer, geothermal?
Are there better alternatives to geothermal power?
We need to start thinking about how we waste energy and how we can live more simply and live with less electricity.
As geothermal energy production becomes a statewide issue, what happens in East Hawaii may determine what happens on other islands.